Hey, welcome back to another this is number 2, Fundamental Friday. Um, oh man, what is backscribing and why should I do it? And there's an order, a process. So you've pulled the body out of the box and you've checked it over carefully. You see where you're going to have to do your wet sanding, where you're going to have to take off the mold lines, etc., etc. This is the first step that you should go through even before you sand the body, and I'll explain why in a little bit. Now, backscribing is to deepen the door lines, your trunk lines, your body lines. The reason being for this, and this will come at a later date, where you want to blacken in these panel lines so that you get this effect, very thin. That is showing where the gasket is. Once again, my detractors and numerous other people will tell you, don't have to do that. Well, it's going to become ad nauseum, but if you want the realistic appearance, this is what you need to do. So, first things first, brand new X-Acto blade, okay, number 11. You have to hold the blade in the same position with each one. You're not going to get this with just one single pass. You don't want to gouge. All you want to do is trace lightly. Start here and just carefully, patiently follow the line. Okay? Numerous passes.
And this is using the back of the blade.
This is using the back. As you notice, it's backwards. That's why they call it backscribing. Okay? You follow the lines all the way up. Okay? And you continue to do that the whole way. Now, multiple passes, you want this to be deep. Like I said, you don't want to drive this blade. All you're doing here is just going like so. And if you notice, you get a little bit, that little tiny bit right there, okay, with each pass. And with each succeeding pass, Kabish? Not that bad. Now, on this particular car, not a problem because the lines are pretty well defined. There are going to be times, and I'll use the Mobius 65 Plymouth as an example. What you're going to have to do on some of them, you take a piece of tape if the line is not defined, okay? And you lay that piece of tape right where that faint line is, and then you lightly trace it. And when I say lightly, I mean you have to make multiple passes, okay? And if you hold the blade in the same position every single time, you are going to get a nice, thin, deep line, which is what you're shooting for, okay? Now, there are going to be times where if you don't follow, you're going to get like a secondary line. So then what you do, you take a small piece of, say, 400, maybe 3/4 by 3/4 on a square edge, and you simply just pass it back and forth on both sides, okay? That will remove that. Now, I think it was the last episode where I was talking about where we had the Foose Cadillac body. Is that, you don't know? I don't know. But anyways, the reason that you do this first is because when you deepen these lines, these bodies along these doors are not level. Alright? You hear that clicking? That's because the fender and the door are not flat together. So once you do all this scribing, okay, if you don't sand this smooth, once again, as I indicated in the previous episode, your paint is going to catch on that high point, and it's going to be a dark mark, and it's going to show. Okay? So what you want to do, once you get your backscribing all done, and you make sure that it's all smooth on the inside, and like I said, here, I'll show you. 220. No. What you want to do, you want to keep your sandpaper cut up into small squares like this. Each one's labeled. So what you're going to do here is you're simply going to take the sandpaper and go along and just sand this smooth on the inside. Okay? And the fact that it's cut with the scissors, it's passing through. You do this both sides. This way it's all uniform. Okay? Now, there are kits where you're going to have to go deep on this. And I'll show you why. Love this kit. Goes together great. This is the AMT 66 Impala. Now, if you'll notice, these lines are a lot more pronounced than those. They're a lot wider. They got a wider mouth to them. So what you want to do, you want to go deep. Like I said, it's just a matter of tracing. Keep going, keep going. If you don't, and you go to put your panel liner in, to blacken these lines in, they're too wide. They don't look authentic or realistic in appearance. So, you go deep. Once you get your panel liner in there, you get everything wiped off, and this will be covered in a future segment. I'll show you how to do it. This way, the line is deep. You can't do anything with this. Okay? Jake, that's 66 body should be right there on the right side with the Oldsmobile.
In the bag?
Yeah, nah, it should be they should be sitting on top of each other. That's Camaro, kid. It's either that or I'll grab the box. Hang on a second. Cutting open a new kit. Not a big deal. Hi, baby. Alright, straight out of the box. Get that mess out of the way. Slice this open. Let's get the body out. Now this might be a little bit easier to see for a sample / example. Now you see the width of these? Okay, so you got to go deep. Alright, and then what you do, as I indicated in the last one, you're going to take 320 and you're going to break this all down. You're going to sand this all smooth. Same way with this door. You could take your thumb and or your finger and you can feel the raised edges on this. As I said, you have to flatten all this. Because if you don't, your paint's going to gather here and you're going to have a dark mark. And it's just not going to look aesthetically pleasing to the eye. So trace these deep. Get them all deep. Then you take your 320. You go over top of this. Okay? And then you work your way up. You go to 400, 600, 800, 1500. And then we're going all the way up 3200 through 12,000. As I indicated in the last episode, you want this thing to be as smooth as you possibly can make it. The smoother the body, the smoother the paint finish is going to be. Okay? So, you're going to have kits like this. And please understand, I'm not hacking on the kits. I've built several of these. I love them. They go together well. It's just that this is another... You're going to hear me say this 1,000,001 times. Be patient. Take your time. Lightly trace it. You're not going to get this all in one shot. Now, there are dental picks that you can buy. They come in various sizes. They come in various tips. And you can get them through Micromark. Okay? Sometimes, you're going to have one where you need to widen these a little bit. Now, you can clip the end off of one of these. Okay? And that will give you and be able to allow you to make a wider trough. Okay? Or you can use the dental picks. And you're going to have to lightly trace it. Now, in closing, the one thing that you got to be cognizant of is if you go out of the lines and you put a scratch, simply take some 320, have it sit right there, and immediately address it. Sand it out. And then, like I said, go back to trace. Turn the stereo on, kick your feet up, put your feet up on the workbench, and just lightly go at it. Take your time, be patient, and like I said, you want these to be deep. You don't want it shallow because it's not gonna look realistic in appearance unless you get it to go down in. And like I said, this is something we'll cover in a future segment. So that's all I got today. And like I said, we're going to keep rolling with this. Common questions and often asked questions that guys don't really want to answer, and we're going to cover it. And I hope this helps. Hope this took a little of the confusion out. And until the next time, I'll see you next Friday. From Jake and I from Lone Wolf Custom Painting. God bless. Have a great week. Catch y'all next week. We're out.